It all started on a dreary Thursday afternoon, under a sky the color of wet cement. When the lawyer handed me the old brass key, it felt heavier than it should have been, like it carried the weight of decades. "Congratulations," she said, sliding a folder of paperwork across the table. "Your grandfather's apartment is now officially yours." I barely remembered him. A stern man with distant eyes who smelled faintly of tobacco and old books. He had lived alone for as long as I could remember, in a crumbling building at the heart of the city. The kind of place you walk past without noticing. Still, free property was free property. I signed the papers, took the key, and told myself it would be simple. Clean the place, sell it, move on. How wrong I was. The building loomed against the gray sky like a half-forgotten memory. The brick facade was cracked, ivy strangling the ironwork balconies. The elevator was out of service, so I climbed the narrow, creaking stairs to the fourth floor. Apartment 4B. The key turned with a groan. The smell hit me first. A thick, dusty mix of mold, wood rot, and something sweeter. Almost metallic, like blood. I swallowed hard and stepped inside. The apartment was frozen in time. Yellowed wallpaper peeled from the walls. Heavy curtains blocked out most of the light. A grandfather clock ticked in the corner, even though no one had wound it in years. Dust motes floated in the air like tiny ghosts. I spent the first few hours opening windows, stacking old newspapers, and filling garbage bags with broken furniture and shattered memories. It wasn't until I tried to remove a cracked wooden panel from the living room wall that I found it. The panel came loose with a sharp snap. Behind it, tucked into a small hollow, was a letter. The envelope was yellowed and brittle. The handwriting, shaky but determined. "For you. From the past." I frowned, turning it over in my hands. It wasn't addressed to anyone by name, just me, Curiosity 1. I carefully slid out the letter. The handwriting inside was childlike, the letters uneven. "Hello, if you're reading this, you found the first one. I'm so glad. I don't have much time. They're coming. Please trust me. Find the others. Your friend." A chill slid down my spine. What the hell? I whispered aloud. Who was this child? How long had these letters been hidden here? More importantly, why did it feel like they were meant exactly for me? The apartment had become a living puzzle box, each room a fresh challenge. I moved through spaces like a hunter, scanning every surface. Loose floorboards in the bedroom yielded a damp, folded letter. In the dining room, chair legs revealed hollow cores, housing another note. Deep inside an antique chest's false bottom, I discovered more. Each letter was more intricately concealed than the last. Some were water-stained and half-rotted, their ink blurred into ghostly smears. Others stayed painfully crisp, the paper unyielding to time. A few featured childish, trembling drawings, ornate keys, melting clocks, and unblinking eyes etched in frenzied loops. Those eyes seemed to follow me, widening with every furtive glance. The messages grew steadily more unnerving. One whispered of distant murmurs echoing behind the walls, voices that never belonged in a home. Another warned of a shadowy figure, described only as the woman in red who passed silently through the corridors at midnight. A third, scribbled in shaky capitals, cautioned, "Beware the mirror. Never trust your own reflection." Fear took root. Nights offered no respite. I slept only in short bursts, my dreams invaded by scrawled phrases and echoing footsteps. I awoke to find fresh letters taped to my bedroom door, as if the building itself refused to let me rest. The more I uncovered, the more the apartment seemed determined to reveal its buried secrets. On the third night of my obsessive search, I found a letter that pierced me with cold dread. You have her eyes. She lied to you too. Grandpa tried to stop it. They hurt him. My fingers shook as I traced the jagged handwriting. My grandfather, the austere man who had always seemed inviolate, had risked everything to protect me. Protect me from what? Memories flooded back, muted arguments in the kitchen when I was a child, the hush that fell whenever anyone mentioned the old apartment, my grandmother's trembling voice muttering words like breakdown, institution, and vanished. No one had ever explained why my grandfather's legacy was haunted by silence. A chill settled over me as I realized the family had borne this burden for generations, each heir sworn to secrecy and trapped by unspoken guilt. Letter 17 directed me to the hallway's imposing mirror. A look in the frame. Not at yourself, look deeper. The mirror's surface was dusty, the silvered frame entwined with tarnished vines. My reflection wavered unnaturally, as though it hesitated behind the glass. I pressed my palm against the edge and felt a faint click, an unseen catch giving way. The mirror swung inward like a heavy door, revealing a slender recess carved into the wall. Inside lay several letters, perfectly preserved, and a photograph sealed in plastic. The photograph depicted a young boy, cap perched askew, standing beside my grandfather. Both faces were grave, as if they had seen something no one else should see. Behind them stood a woman in a dark, voluminous dress. Her eyes were completely blacked out, defaced by thick, cruel ink. On the back, a single line in the same childlike script. She still lives here. Watch the cracks. A sudden draft chilled the recess. I jerked the mirror closed, heart hammering. In the nights that followed, the apartment's silent walls awakened. Soft, rhythmic tapping echoed behind the paneling, like tiny fingernails rapping in code. At odd hours, I heard a child's laughter, too high-pitched, too manic to be natural. The grandfather clock, silent for decades, began its mournful ticking exactly at midnight. Curtains billowed where no breeze intruded. Shadows pooled at the edges of hallways, flickering as if replaying some unseen dance. New letters appeared, hastily scribbled. She knows you're here. The walls lie, find the cracks. I taped over windows and left every light burning, but the darkness pressed closer, hungry for my fear. One storm-lashed night, after hours of frantic tearing apart a closet in the study, I uncovered the last envelope, wedged in the innermost corner behind a false panel. This one felt different, heavier, as though it carried the weight of every secret I'd unearthed. Breaking its black wax seal, I discovered a lengthy letter and a rusted key. The letter read, "If you found this, it means you were brave enough to follow. There is one final task. Beneath these floors lies a hidden chamber. Use the key to unlock it and set us free." My blood ran cold. A hidden chamber? I tapped meticulously along the parlor floor until a hollow sound resonated near the fireplace. My hand traced the seam of a trap door. Hands shaking, I inserted the key. It groaned against rust, but turned. With a reluctant creak, the trap door swung open onto a steep, dark staircase plunging downward. I hesitated at the threshold, flashlight trembling in my grasp. Then, Steeling myself, I descended into the unknown. The basement smelled worse than the apartment. Damp earth, mildew, and something fouler underneath. The beam of my flashlight swept across the small space. A child's desk rotting with age. A cracked doll's head, and hundreds of drawings pinned to the walls. Eyes, endless, staring eyes. In the center of the room stood a wooden chair, ropes trailing from its arms. Above it, scrawled in rusty nails into the stone, "Beware the bloodline." Suddenly, the flashlight flickered. For a heartbeat, I thought I saw a shape crouched in the corner. Small, childlike, but twisted wrong. The light sputtered back on. The corner was empty. I ran. I didn't stay another night. I called a locksmith to bolt the place shut and listed the apartment for sale as is. I didn't care if I lost money. I just needed out. Before I left, I packed the letters carefully into a sealed box and buried it deep in my closet at home. But sometimes, late at night, I hear tapping against my walls. Soft whispers just beyond the range of hearing. And once, I woke to find a single letter slipped under my bedroom door. No address, no stamp, just 2 words. Keep watching. Some secrets don't stay buried.